I think my form's pretty good right now. I won the big tournament in Europe, in Romania. It was 256 players.
Now in Japan, already the everyday training, fitness and running, gimpo.
No, he's a funny guy and he's a good player as well.
I win the very strong heart, getting the experience.
To win the Whirlpool Masters means a lot to me, will mean a lot to me, because it's like the best invitational tournament.
Let's get to match 2 of this afternoon session. Fedor Gorst against Naoyuki Oi with your commentators Alex Lely and Phil Yates.
Tom, thank you very much indeed. This one is Russia against Japan. Naoyuki Oi, you never know what to expect from him, but you know one thing, he will put a smile on everyone's face. Tell you what though, he's up against one of the finest young players in the world in Fedor Gorst, who is the number 10 seed here. And as Carl Boy has alluded to, he's coming off a win very recently. Yeah, so he will be full of confidence.
He just won the Bucharest Open in the IDM Club, a 256 player tournament. He won like half a year ago, he won the Euro Tour, and he's really making a breakthrough.
Fedor goes to break.
He's one of the hottest players right now on the Euro Tour. And he's on track to qualify for the Mosconi Cup.
And, as you know, Alex, the identity of the opponent he beat in the final in Bucharest tells us a lot about how good he is.
Yeah, he beat Jason Shaw, current reigning US Open champion. He'll be appearing later in this tournament. But Naoyuki Oi was watching him in the practice room, and he has worked on his game. He's working together with the ninja instructor, Yutaka, who is here as well. He has sharpened his alignment and his striking of the ball.
Did you say a ninja instructor?
Yeah, so they did this trick shot, and Yutaka is wearing a ninja outfit, and actually his father is like an official ninja. So, and Yutaka is a snooker instructor officially. That's his background. So he works with Oi on his technique, but also on his mental game. So they do hikes in the mountains, and they do their routines, like the mental routines that ninjas do. It's an open setup here for Oi. And what I said in the post-match interview after Pegalai and Wu Shaxing finished their match, that it's also very much about what type of layout you get presented. So this type of layout is perfect to get going. A lot of room to maneuver the cue ball. Any billiards discipline, any cue sport discipline is very much about rhythm. And finding that fine balance between instinct and playing with care. Can go forward 2 rails or get the cue ball back. And you could tell there when he struck the ball, he grips the cue a bit forward, so he has little cue to deliver through the ball. And the risk there is under hitting the stroke, just like he did.
Yes, and being short of pace was the real cardinal error there.
He was so worried about over-hitting the ball, coming along on the 7, that he under-hit it. I think he's forced to play this with right spin, and he will contact the 7, but it's all about finding some sort of defense. He was trying to lock himself out of trouble. A big error there from the 6 to the 7.
Absolutely right, and everyone who knows Fedor Gorst will confidently expect him to tidy up these 3 balls.
Gorst works very hard, and now, you know, when there's a live stream and he's performing well, as he's been doing so well for the past year, people say, oh man, he's coming out of nowhere, but Gorst really is a hard-working player. He's put in a lot of time for the past 5 years.
Yes, mature beyond his years and a formidable foe. Russia have produced some fine players over the years. The first Russian to compete for Europe in the Mosconi Cup was Konstantin Stepanov. And of course, Ruslan Chinnikov has had a lot of success on the international scene as well. And now Gorst is becoming the 3rd member of that fine group.
Yeah, here Oi's kick on the 7. There wasn't a lot available there. Yeah, Gorst plays in the Baza Club in Moscow. And what I'd like to underline is that he also plays all games. So there are many different disciplines, and not on the competitive scene, but bank pool, one pocket, different disciplines, and he plays them all. He's a real student of the game. Has been working together with Johan Ruysink, the Mosconi Cup captain, for I think 4 years now.
Well, you say he's an all-rounder. That was borne out what he did at the Derby City Classic this year. He was 3rd in the 9-ball, 3rd in the 10-ball, which is the Bigfoot Challenge, and he was 5th in the 1 pocket. So a real all-rounder.
Former junior world champion. He was gifted the first rack, and he had the break in the opening rack, so I wonder what he will be trying to do differently.
Our referee, by the way, carrying out this intricate work is Jason Walker from right here in Gibraltar. Just weighing up every single angle.
Right 2.
With a hand
Fedor
rack,
Gorst
9-ball
right,
rack, there
Fedor
will
leading
be
1
gaps
rack
here and there. So what he was doing was trying to figure out which gap was where and which one would enable him to make a ball on the break. And he read the rack well. It's a bit harder for the players in general to control the cue ball when breaking from center table. And the cue ball did jump to the side. But the 1 ball is exposed. The 2 is his problem, his challenge to get to. He can go 2 rails for a cut to the side pocket, and if he falls short, he'll have a bank. Just make sure to see the 2. Don't get behind the 5 and 9. Underhit it. So anytime there's worry for a player, for a cue ball traveling too far, too fast, they'll regularly underhit the stroke. Oi did that in rack 1. And Gorst now from the 1 to the 2.
The cue ball travelled just about enough.
Now I think he overcut the 2 ball. His intent was to strike it a bit thicker. And on this table, on the TV table, there's more deflection. So anytime the players are using left or right spin, because of the impact with the cue ball, it will be pushed a bit to the side. They need to compensate But on this table, they need to compensate a bit more. Very difficult jump for Oi.
Extension called.
Could hardly sight the line of aim. If he hits low left on a cue ball, he can smother the cue ball, come to the left side of the table. But again, this is the type of stroke that you cannot overhit. Needs to hold back a bit on the stroke. Now on an American pool table, if you limit the speed, it will widen the pocket.
Fresh-faced, 18 years of age, celebrates his 19th birthday in late May, and already he's made quite an impact on this game.
Wouldn't surprise me if he were to make the European team this year. You know, any progress of a player's career will be incremental with a leap, like every 2-3 years, and he is making his leap for the past 6 months. Who knows what he's going to do in the next 6.
One of the other big showpiece events on the pool calendar, promoted by Matchroom, is the World Cup of Pool coming up at the end of June. Fedor Gorst and presumably Ruslan Chinnikov in the same team. Now that would be a formidable pairing for me. Doesn't seem fazed by reputation of opponents, or indeed the high stakes he's playing for. That was beautiful.
Straight in on the 9 for a 2-0 lead.
That one wobbled a little bit off the near jaw, but Fedor Gorst is off to a very pleasing start from his standpoint. He leads Naoyuki Oi by 2-0. It was all about this attempted jump shot, which didn't come off. Worse still, the blue 2 ball was left in open play, and from there, Gorst went about his business. Cue ball was a little uncomfortably close to the side cushion for that shot, but the 9 ball went in nevertheless.
It's not a jury sport. You don't get points for how it looks, because it didn't look that confident. Of course, 2 ball and the 9 ball. But they went down.
He is a Euro Tour winner, is Gorst. He won the 2018 Treviso Open in Italy. As for Naoyuki Oi, well, he finds himself in the same predicament as Wu Chia-cheng did in the first match here at the Tercentenary Hall this afternoon, i.e. 2-0 down. Wu, he tried to recover, but ultimately didn't. It's a worrying position to be in these race to sevens, which can be over in the blink of an eye.
Fedor goes to break. Fedor leading 2-0.
It also depends for how you experience the deficit, how you got there. And Oi really missed that great opportunity in the opening rack, where he failed to get position on the 7 ball. And Gorst just looking to water that seed of doubt in Oi's head.
Now with the 3 ball in close proximity to the 9, which is in turn in close proximity to a pocket, we might see a relatively swift conclusion to this rack. and he knows it.
This is exposed. Where's the 6 still blocking? But even, okay, it's fully blocking the 1 ball. But Gorst here, for me, a 3-1 favorite to make the 1.
Extension called.
Going over the 6. Now position on the 2 ball will probably be difficult. Sometimes that harms the efficacy of a jump. So he didn't try to get better shape on the 2, he just focused on the 1 ball. So this a rack winning shot on a 2 if he makes it, because the 3-9 combination would be a formality.
Again, that was impressive cueing, particularly with the beeps going. He was completely unflustered and he delivered the cue as sweetly as you like. So 3-9. And for Fedor Gorst, all is fine. He's 3-0 ahead and playing some really good pool. Naoyuki Oi in a bind early on. More from the Dapperbet World Pool Masters here in Gibraltar after the break.
Thank you.
It is the Dapperbet World Pool Masters. Match number 2 is in progress in this first round, and a teenager by the name of Fedor Gorst from Russia has flown into a 3-0 lead over Japan's Naoyuki Oi.
Fedor goes to break. Fedor leading 3 racks to 0.
The winner of this match will be up against Skylar Woodward in the 2nd round. And it's funny because Gorst and Woodward are spending all time together. Having dinner, lunch, practicing, talking. So if Gorst continues to win this match, just set that aside with the 9 ball traveling with a lot of speed towards the left-hand corner pocket. And then kissed towards the other corner. Look at the 9 here, shooting away, wasn't going to go in. If it wasn't for the collision with the 7. Oi has a bank shot on the 1. He can attack the pocket with the 2 and 9 being so close to it. He needs luck. He needs a bit of luck.
And the 1 pokes out. Just travelled on that extra inch or 2 that made all the difference.
So Gorst doesn't see enough of the ball to hit the 1 into the 2 ball.
Extension called.
Quite a difficult position here. He can back cut it to the corner where the 7 is, but that's a low percentage shot. This is where the extension comes into play. Oh! Oh, that's a difficult shot that he's playing. He's jumping, but the 5 is pretty far away from the cue ball. And jumping is not so much about making the cue ball go up, but it's about estimating where it lands. Great shot.
Dare I say, Alex, the impetuosity of youth. It worked. Worked a treat.
Well, he took his time considering what to play. And he didn't see any alternative, so in the end he went for the offensive shot. And he can reap the rewards here. Good strike, maybe too straight or even behind the 9. Yeah, that's the second jump shot that he needs to play. He's a tall lad. Easy for him to get the elevation on the cue. Wow, look at the cue ball.
I know it's only a small sample, but he's out there in front of the TV cameras. International tournament, these pictures being beamed all over the world, and he looks completely at home.
Yeah, a player in form gets to the end stages of tournaments, so gets used to playing on that arena table. That's a big advantage. And he's a bit, for me, a bit like Ekland Kaci, the young Albanian who will be starring in this tournament. Young, but smart, and with a lot of precision. So they have the confidence of youth, but it's not like they'll play all in every time. These guys are very smart for their age, very knowledgeable.
This year's Mosconi Cup takes place at the Mandalay Bay between the 25th and the 28th of November. Europe are trying to reclaim the trophy. Fedor Gorst could be on that team, and he certainly seems to be made of the right stuff.
Oh, that's a nice stroke. That's a beautiful stroke. To play that shot as if it's not that close to the rail. That was his purest stroke actually in the match thus far. This is a real confidence builder.
Asking for the cue ball to be clean, doesn't want a skid. We saw one of those in the first match actually. When a cue ball is cleaned like this, it does come out of the player's time though. So in the end, he was cutting it fine.
Now, if he wants to cut in the 8 ball, if he were to cut it cleanly in the pocket, cue ball would run towards the 9. And cutting the ball, plain ball, or cutting it with the right spin makes a big difference. With spin makes it just that bit harder. Played it in a smart way. Not to go up and down, but softer. Doubling the size of the pocket like that.
Fedor, fantastic. For Oi, it's 0-0. And this has been thoroughly impressive from the youngster. I suppose when you're his age, Alex, you don't get much scar tissue in comparison with the other players. The way he played these 2 jump shots, the 1 into the 2, and then a little later another jump, the 6 down the rail. Very convincing indeed.
Yeah, awesome. And Oi only thinking about that 7 ball in the opening rack. When I was in a taxi coming here from the airport, I was talking to the taxi driver and he was saying this is an easy game. I said, how easy is it if you fly half the globe to come here? playing a race to 7 against top opposition. Can be one mistake and you're on your way back.
I think people who say it's an easy sport have got the wrong end of the stick. It's brutally difficult, actually, to make an impact at the highest level. One mistake can mean you're on the way home. And with this winner's break format, if a player is in the groove, they can forge clear.
So he's moved to the side on the break. Feels like he can make the blue 2 ball in the corner. Yeah, it pours, it rains, it pours for Naoyuki Oi. Because a dry break, another dry break for Gorst. But no exposure of the 1 ball. I think he'll kick at it. Big target, that 1, and the 2 ball goes to the other corner.
Foul, ball in hand.
Yeah, and here missing contact with the 1. He played a rolling cue ball, and playing in that fashion, it'll open up a lot coming off of the rail. And then the difference with that type of kick shot between a club table, your own table, even with a new cloth, and this TV table is humongous. Quite a few players in this tournament are watching. Checking out the opposition, the competition, but also the table, how it reacts, how it rolls, how the cue ball deflects off of the rails.
It's been very noticeable all afternoon that sitting in the front row, taking very keen observation of what's going on, is Shane Van Boning. Actually, he's yawning as I speak, but for the rest of the afternoon he's been keen. Shane Van yawning at the moment.
Nice little bump on the 6, which will help him. He's pushed the 6 in a good position to prepare for the 7 ball. The 7-9 combination later on is makeable but difficult. Now with this angle he can do whatever he wants. The 7-9 is a nice shot to play if you position the cue ball perfectly. So for that reason he's opting differently. He looks like he's trying to get to the right side of the 7. Float it over. He's looking good now. The way he moves around the table, the way he's eyeing the angles. He's in gear. He has an angle on the 7. The harder he hits it, the more the cue ball will deflect to the right in the direction of the 9. So he can't hit this too hard. It was either this or with check spin, check side to go to the short rail. A glimmer of hope for Naoyuki Oi.
Most definitely, this is a real test of technique and nerve. Test passed with flying colours.
Yeah, that was a great shot.
How about this scoreline? Someone shouts out Europe. He's not the Mosconi Cup spectator, he's the Whirlpool Masters spectator. But you know, In a few months' time, 8 months' time to be precise, if Fedor Gorst was on that European team at the Mosconi Cup, no one would be surprised and he would not be out of place. You've seen thousands upon thousands of racks, Alex. Okay, as I said before, it's only a small sample, 5 racks we've seen from him today, but he looks the real deal to me.
Yeah, this has been coming for a long time, Phil. Here, Shane Van Boning got to the final last year where he succumbed Niels Veen. 2-time winner. And he was the man for Team USA in the past Mosconi Cup. He sank the winning combination on the 9.
You know, you made the point about Naoyuki Oi coming all this way, and perhaps, who knows, being whitewashed. There's a distinct possibility of that. What about Wu Cha-ching last year? The beast from the east hit Britain. It meant that the flight he was on was diverted to Malaga. They told him that at the airport back in the UK. He hadn't got the necessary visa to land in Spain, so basically he couldn't play. He had to turn around and go back home. Came all the way from China to the UK, but was unable to make the last leg here and had to scratch from the tournament. This time, he plays, loses in the first round. Funnily enough, the beast from the east caused all kinds of logistical problems with the tournament last year, not least the referees, and that man there, Jason Walker, stepped into the breach because Desislava Voshilova and indeed Brendan Moore, who's supposed to be here, their travel arrangements were severely affected by the weather, as indeed were Nigel Rees. And so, if it hadn't been for Jason, I don't know what we'd have done. He was an 11th hour replacement and he did a fine job. So those guys are having a swift pint. Out on the table, an 18-year-old is playing champagne pool.
Fedor Gorst to
Looking
break.
better and better.
Fedor
Fedor
leading
Gorst
5 racks to 0.
breaking off in the 6th. And as you can see, he's constantly moving the cue ball about. And that all depends on the gaps that he finds between certain balls in the rack. Oh, look at the cluster, the 4, 5, 7, 9. Almost made the 8 ball on the side.
You would think if you were just joining this match, 5-0, maybe you would assume that one player had been dominant with the break, but that hasn't been the case.
Push out called by Naoyuki Oi. Is this a push? I don't think he played a push, actually. Maybe a misunderstanding, but in 9 ball you can always, after the break, opt to play a push out. So the incoming player calls a push, plays the cue ball anywhere on the table to let the other player come in and opt to play or give back the position.
Extension called.
This is not easy to find the solution here. Very risky here. He's not guaranteed to get a safety. Oh, unlucky. Unlucky. Beautiful cue ball, the way he played it.
When is a fluke not a fluke? When you don't want one.
But this type of shot that he just played, very creative. It wasn't obvious, but this is why he plays all those different disciplines. To learn new shots and new solutions.
Foul, ball in hand.
So ball in hand for Naoyuki Oi. Possibly there's room enough between the 2 ball and the rail to make the 1. But is there room for the cue ball to get shape on the 2? Gonna play safety. Really wants to stick it to the 2 ball. And he has failed now, Naoyuki Oi, to take out the long rail, the right long rail. And this is an easier route to the 1 than going 2 rails off the other side. I think 60-40 underdog Gorst to resave here. If, of course, he would have contacted the 1. So 7 balls on the table, 8 balls on the table with ball in hand for Oi. This is a great opportunity to get that first point on the board.
Yes, his best chance since he messed up position. 3 balls away from winning the first rack.
A little bit tricky, the 3 being so close to the 5. Can't leave himself too much angle on the 3. That's a good shot. That's a good shot. Could have been better, but this is good enough. Even if he needs to collide with the 5, he could control that easily. Now the 6 very close to the pocket. If he elects to go forward to play with topspin, this could react a bit funny. If he's going to stun or stun draw the cue ball, he needs to elevate. He can lose the cue ball here. Shouldn't, but he can. Now on a pool table, it's nice. It's sort of nice having to use the rails because he'll come in towards the 8 off of the short rail. Let's see if he manages to stay down on the shot. Used to be a real challenge for him in the past. It's a clean stroke. Can really tell he has done technical work.
And so the dreaded whitewash is averted. Naoyuki Oi has his first rack on the board. Nevertheless, though, Fedor Gorst holding all the aces, leading 5-1. Welcome back to the southern tip of the Iberian Peninsula, where we are seeing a very fine performance from Fedor Gorst. That said, though, Naoyuki Oi has just won rack number 6 to give himself, well, I suppose, a little more than a glimmer of hope, because he breaks off in rack number 7. Here goes.
Oh, wow. 3 balls down. This match can turn for sure. Great break by Oi, but he needs to come with a great shot on the 1. And he has an angle on the 1, an unfavorable angle. He'll travel away from the 2. But if he goes forward, will he leave himself a cut on the 2? Playing with a level cue. So either force it or go forward. About 2 diamonds. Played it very positively, trying to get close to the 2 ball. He didn't like a tough shot on the 1 to leave himself a tough shot on the 2.
Extension called.
Just a reminder, it's a 30-second shot clock in operation here, but in each rack, a player can take a 30-second extension should they so wish. As a plane takes off from the very nearby airport. Not the busiest airfield, but it is really close.
There was a subpar stroke from Fedor Gorst, didn't get the action on the ball. Now his main concern, apart from pocketing the 2 or not, is to not scratch, because he'll try to pocket the 2 and come off the 8 ball. Old defense. That little charge by Oi, getting that first point, has halted Gorst's rhythm. We have a bit of a match now. Two ball is open. It all depends on how much Gorst needs to spin his cue ball to get to the 4. Does he even have an angle? Barely.
Foul ball in hand.
You can't pinch the pocket with these middles. You have to be very accurate, especially with a shot of that nature. So he missed the 2 by a distance, and worse still, the scratch means that Oi really should pull 1 back.
They had a gimmick at the tournament in Bucharest, the 256 player tournament that Gorst just won the past weekend. They had like a visible heart rate meter. The players playing on a TV table were set up with a device. It was very interesting. You could see that the highest heart rates were by players not at the table but in their chair. And the highest heart rate measured in the tournament was Shane Van Bonings. He had 186 after he missed a 9 ball. So I would like to know Gorst's right now after that scratch.
A couple of years ago, an interview here from Naoyuki Oi went viral. I'll tell you what, if he came back from 5-0 down to win this match, that would also go viral for a very different reason. He's a joker, he's a character, but he's also a serious competitor. And now he's got his foothold in this match. Who knows?
Here Gorst's scratch. I mean, it looked worse than it was. He had very little room to work with. And playing with a bit of side spin, with the cue ball close to the rail, it will deflect a lot. The best comeback for me in Whirlpool Masters history was Raj Handal's comeback in the final when he beat Rodney Morris from a 7-1 deficit. Anything is possible, as we see Yutaka, the ninja instructor, the mental coach of Naoyuki Oi.
Well, there
Naoyuki to
is the
break.
ninja.
Naoyuki trailing 2 racks to 5.
I don't know if we've got any mutant turtles, but we have got a teenager playing against Oi. And Oi is coming out of his shell here.
Yeah, big wreck coming up. Big wreck coming up. I mean, surely Gorst feeling a bit uncomfortable now with the mistakes that he made. The failed draw shot from the 1 to the 2 and then that shot on the 2 ball.
You're right, though, talking about the Raj Handal fight back against Rodney Morris. 14 years ago that was in Doncaster, Yorkshire. Back from the dead. These matches can turn. We've seen it so often before.
Now, a difficult shot on the 1 with no future on the 2. There's no use attacking, but this is a very odd shot selection, actually, I find, because even if you get the snooker, leaving it so close to the pocket, you'll risk having your opponent jump it in. Couple of mistakes, 3 mistakes in 5 minutes by Gorst. Stun to open the 2 and 4. And he played that rail first. Made it easier to get some speed in the cue ball. Cut it into the 4. Not the best of efforts. Hadn't figured out how to play it exactly. Another chance for Gorst to regain the initiative and momentum.
Extension called.
He can play a straight back, a bank, the 2 ball to the corner where the 9, 5 and 6 are. Played sort of dead weight. If he misses with a nice speed, he'd be favorite to save the 2 ball. Played this a bit more of containing value, this type of safety. For the snooker and the 2-4. Difficult combination.
Extension called.
Double kiss looms large. If he tries to bank the 2 ball back towards the 7. Good shot. Played it as a ticky, that's how they call it in pre-cushion billiards. Drill first to take out the double kiss danger.
Well, in rack number 4, Gorst pulled off 2 superb pots with jump shots in rapid succession.
Oh, that's number 3.
And that was the pick of the bunch. Really was superb, and position on the 3 ball attached.
Now he needs to thread the needle for position on the 4. Avoid the 6 and the 9. Oh, nicely done. Nicely done. A lot of composure by Gorst. Easy to think that it'd be easy being up 5-2, but he has made a couple of mistakes. Wants to finish straight on the 5.
When you're 5-0 up, the demon that's on your shoulder is, if the other guy comes back, I will never forgive myself if I lose this. That's the demon you should try and banish, but it's much harder than it seems.
He could have played position for the 6-9 combination. But he liked his odds on this shot. It was a nice kiss. Now the 6, 7 and 8 to the same pocket. Three more shots and he'll be on the hill. It's been a rocky road for the past 10 minutes for the young Muscovite. But that jump shot bailed him out.
Yes, under the rock on the hill, that is Fedor Gorst, 18 years of age and now 1 rack away from a place in the last 16 of this Dafabet World Pool Masters. And very pertinently, Alex, he's breaking off in rack number 9, so everything suggests he's going to come through this, but you never quite know.
There's the holder. Niels Veen flown in today. He's waiting in the second round. 24 players in this World Pool Masters. And 16 players are playing in round 1. 8 seeded players are waiting in round 2. And David Alcady and Rui Sanchez are playing each other to meet Niels Veen. The winner will meet Niels Veen in the second round.
Yes, and that all-Spanish matchup, Alcady against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, is going to be the closing match this afternoon. Next up, by the way, after this, it's Albin Auschen from Austria against Jeffrey De Luna from the Philippines. Unfinished business here, though, first.
Breaking rack 9 for Gorst, who's moving to the same spot that Oi was breaking from. A dry break. And 100% guaranteed snooker to be played by Oi. Just needs to stop his rock. Looks like he didn't manage to squeeze that cue ball a bit closer towards the 7. So actually Gorst can play the same route of the 1 ball. He needs to estimate how much that cue ball will open up, how much it will bend and arc after the long rail. Now even if Oi sees the 1, Just by hitting it, Gorst has made it difficult for Oi. He's blocked.
Extension called.
So he's looking, Gorst, if he likes to thin it, the 1, really thin it,
Central
and then
cold.
go towards the 7 off of the long rail. Or control that 1 by hitting it a bit thicker into the 9. Oh, look at the 9. Look at the 9. Oh, was not his intention. But what he did do was control that 1 ball to perfection.
It actually just caught the bump of the pocket there. I think it had got enough pace to go had it gone in directly without hitting a jaw. It's not a nice place to inhabit for Naoyuki Oi. That place where you know your next mistake might well be your final mistake.
Eyeing up. A shot to the right-hand corner. It's not easy to control the cue ball here. But he made it look easy. It was a rack and match winning shot. And that's the difficulty in 9 ball. The winning shot, he has made it. Now he still needs to win it. Don't fumble the ball.
Pot the 3 conventionally, and then a 4-9 combination for a place in the last 16 against Mosconi Cup MVP Skylar Woodward. It was never in doubt, and the better player on the day most certainly won that particular contest. Having won the first 5 racks in succession, Fedor Gorst from Russia beats Naoyuki Oi from Japan by 7 racks to 2. The teenager was tremendous. More Dafabet Whirlpool Masters coming up after this short break.
This afternoon session has finished and Fedor Gorst has gone through to the last 16, beating Naoyuki Oi comfortably in the end here in Gibraltar. Really entertaining game though. And we've got Naoyuki Oi, who's sadly for you defeated today, but how good was Fedor in that match?
Yeah, today opponent Gorst. Super jumping shot, 4-time win. Unbelievable. Young guy, dangerous. Gorst
He is. I mean, at the age of 18, I mean, he could have an incredible career, couldn't he? We're going to speak to him in a moment, but what a start to his career.
Oh, Japanese song, ghost song. Ge, 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 no ge.
I don't know what that means. I'm not sure if you understood my question, actually, but either way, we
Let's
enjoyed
go,
that.
Ghost! I go back to Japan. My bank is 8,000 euro only. Go back! Oh my God!
I'm not sure if I've suddenly got involved in some sort of a play here, but Naoyuki Oi, thank you. Round of applause for Naoyuki Oi. The winner here, Fedor Gorst, has come in. I apologise that you have to follow that out. I'm not sure what that was, Fedor, but what you were was absolutely magnificent today. I mean, you must have just felt in the zone from the start.
Yeah, thank you. I was nervous the whole match, and you know, I played good. The jump worked like perfect. So.
Well, let's show these jump shots as well, because this is something that... Is this just pure practice to make perfect?
Yeah, when I was like 13 years old, I have a table in my house, so I was just practicing jump shots. And, you know, it shows.
Yeah, it certainly looks good, doesn't it? Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. And you just said there that you were nervous. Now, I know you're only 18, so yeah, people would think you should be nervous, but you didn't look it, I can assure you.
Well, yeah, I was. I'm shaking still, see?
Yeah, well. Next round now, you're through. Skylar Woodward in the next round. How well do you know him?
Well, I know him pretty good. That's my friend.
Oh, he's your friend?
Yeah.
So is this what the... I take it the two of you really wanted this, and was that extra motivation, if he's your friend, to win today and go through?
Again?
Was it extra motivation to win today and play your friend?
No. I'm always playing same. It doesn't matter. The motivation is the same every time.
Okay. We're talking about, I mean, the commentators were so complimentary towards you, especially given your age. With you being so young, do you feel that there's less pressure on you because people who've got more experience might expect to beat you?
Well, I don't really know. That's the thing that I don't know.
Okay, well, Fedor, it was a superb performance from you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. We'll see you in the next round. So we're 2 games down so far in this session. We saw Alex Pagulayan beat Wu Chia-Ching 7-4. We've just seen Fedor Gorst beat Naoyuki Oi 7-2. Albin Ushan is next against Jeffrey De Luna. And finally, David Arcady against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. So that next game, Ushan against De Luna.